Is Tuesday, July 25th. So excited to be here with my colleague Michelle, and grab whatever you need to get comfy this morning, and we'll be back in about 30 seconds. All right. Good morning, everyone. So excited. Oh, and my dog is so excited too.
It scared me.
It's my guard dog. I'm going to let him out real quick. Michelle, you want to say hello to everyone?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Hey, thanks for joining us today. I'm really excited about today's topic. We're going to be talking about seating and partnering considerations for interaction. And I know both Carly and I do a lot of work just helping to boost oracy in the classroom. So this is going to be good. Excited.
Yes, I am too. It's going to be like, I know you and I could probably talk about this for forever and ever.
Well, we haven't really ever gotten together and talked about this topic, even though sometimes we collaborate on presenting in PowerPoint slides, like slide deck slides and things like that. But
yes, for sure. So before we hop into that, we had EmpowerCon last week. It was just amazing and so much fun. And it was so nice to be able to just like be with our people.
Yeah, I was so grateful. I already started crying on the way home. Oh. I felt so much gratitude that we could all come together in the summer. There's still a little summer left on the other side of it. So, and it was just lovely. The excitement, joy, and love of children was just like really in the building both days from so many educators that came.
Yes, absolutely. And it's just been nice to like kind of continue some of those conversations too. And like, I don't know, it was so cool. And it was so cool to be with you, Michelle, and like our whole team being together in one spot. Like, I feel like, you know, we're all kind of bouncing all over the place. So this was super nice just to like have our unit all together for the most part. I know we were missing some of our buddies, but it was wonderful.
You did such a good job organizing. Everything was, you know, beautiful, perfectly organized. So
thank you.
I love doing that.
So much fun. I'm already like, again, we're kind of going through the feedback and looking at all of our input from everybody, and we're already kind of like spinning our wheels for next time. So stay tuned, y'all. We got lots to talk about in the next few weeks and months to come. Did you have a good weekend?
I did. We went to Max's school friends' family's lake house. It was unbelievable. So we spent yesterday like 8 hours out in the water. I'm a little bit pink, but I'm good. My eyes hurt a little from the like water waves, but like, man, if that's the reason for a few little bit of eye dryness, I'll take it over my screen any day. That's always problem with my eyes, but fresh breeze from the lake, I'll take that.
Yeah.
Sure. So it was a lovely weekend. How about you?
So we were kind of similar. We were not quite on a lake, but I was with my family. It was my nephew's 7th birthday. Well, today, the 25th, is his 7th birthday. So happy birthday, Javi. But we were celebrating his birthday this past weekend at in Indiana. My sister has connection to somebody who like rents out their cabin, but they have like private ponds that's not overfished. So I spent the entire day fishing, and it was just like so exciting. I love fishing and I never get to go. So I was like thrilled.
That's awesome. That's a good weekend just out in. Yeah. I'm usually an indoor girl, but out in nature this weekend, it was just perfect, beautiful weather.
Yeah. See, I always say that too. I'm very in
comfort zone.
Yes, exactly. Oh, y'all.
So pushing comfort zones. Yeah.
That's right. Just a quick programming note. So today is our last Tuesday of the month. And so starting next week, we're going to resume to the wind down Wednesday schedule. So that'll start Wednesday, August 2nd. But yeah, so we got so much to talk about for today's topic, which is kind of that idea of setting up our spaces and setting up our plans, our instructional plans, but classroom seating considerations for supporting student interaction. So I know we have a few different tools to share with folks who are watching. And Michele, I think I'm going to pass it to you for the first one.
Sure. You know, the first thing that I think about when I think about students interacting and just walking into the classroom and seeing where their seat is going to be, finding where their seat is going to be. Teachers are purposeful most of the time in designing what that will be for students. And I think many times we might start the year, and I always suggest we start the year with some choice involved from students. I know when I walk into a crowded room, I'm like trying to find my people, you know, looking
detected at the front door.
I forgot to turn my alarm off. I'm always looking around for people that I spot that are familiar because that's comfortable for me. And I might want to go sit down, chat. I know if we're interacting, if we're asked to do something, we can partner together. And so I like that we would give students some semblance of choice as well. Some teachers find choice problematic. So I think we should talk that through. Why would sitting next to your friends be problematic in school?
Yeah.
Like to those teachers, I think it will be problematic because you might goof around, not pay attention. Some teachers say, well, if they're only sitting next to so-and-so, they might not use English. They might only use their own language, and that's viewed as a problem. First, I think that could be viewed as a positive, that we have someone to talk to next to us that speaks a language that we can interact and think about what we're learning and talk together freely. Yes. I think this is so important. We don't want to minimize students' use of their home language. Then I always hear from teachers like, well, since I don't know what they're saying, you know, they could be saying anything. Well, any kid could probably be saying anything, in my opinion. We can't possibly hear every single little thing that anyone says to their partner. But I don't know about you, and I feel like most teachers have like a teacher radar.
Yes. Yes.
We can tell when conversation is sneaky or silly. And we would be able to manage those situations like we would manage any other, you know, behavioral challenge in the classroom. So I think sitting next to someone and certainly having a choice is good. If we're not willing to like free choice because we're nervous that might isolate a few students too, like they might not have someone to choose. Yeah. We could do a private choice. Where students give you a list of students that they would be comfortable partnering with right now. And you can tell students, or let me know if you're unsure, if you don't have someone in this class that you feel you could partner with, or let me know. So just talking with students about their choice in the beginning, I think lower stress and allows them to see that you're receptive and open to us building the community of talk together, rather than me telling you who to partner with, what to say, exactly how this is going to go.
Yes. Oh, so you touched on a few different points. And when you were talking about like the like almost like our nerves of like, you know, are they just going to be kind of chatting the whole time and being too social? It also made me think of a thread I just recently saw on social media, and it was talking about the staff side, like getting back into the swing of things and going to like kind of opening day, you know, PD sessions, or like our initial staff gathering sessions. And there was a group that like was very vocal, and it was a really interesting dialogue to see unfold, because I kind of could see multiple perspectives at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody was saying, like, I hate when I walk into the back to school staff meeting and I have assigned seats. I want to sit with my team. Those are the people I work with every single day. Like, we have to plan together. And so I want to sit next to them. Like, that's my little unit. And then there was another side of the dialogue that was like, but I never get to talk with the PE teacher. Like, I would love to get outside of my group and like just connect a little bit more. So it was an interesting dialogue to just watch unfold based on this conversation too, because like, you know, do we like getting told where to sit, or do we, you know,
I don't
be better off?
You know how I am. I don't like to be forced or told many things. I kind of I get the right away the feeling of like I want to push back against these rules. But that's just part of my personality. I've always been that way. And so I don't like that. But on the flip side, I also think being stagnant next to one partner, just with your team, just with your friend the whole time isn't healthy either. We want multilingual students, just like any other people, adults or kids, to have varied partners. And just my thinking there is just keep things moving. So we have, you know, maybe one partner who we started with, who we chose, and we can return back to that comfort spot. But we're going to also do a group of 4, bring from that group one person together from other groups to have cross conversation and cross talk. So I think kind of keep it fresh that way is good. I can definitely see both sides of that too. So if we keep things moving, both in staff meetings as you said, and also in the classroom, then I think we'll address both of those things.
Yes. And I call that buddy burnout. And I think I typically talk about buddy burnout when I'm talking about like newcomer students. When we have a student who represents one language group and we have another student in the class, like, yoo-hoo, we have someone who shares their language. So we're like, I'm going to partner them for, you know, for these activities, or for like, they're going to sit near each other. And I think that's really, really cool. But like you said, we got to keep it moving, because that we don't want that one student to feel like they are the sole advocate, communicator, connector, everything for that one buddy, so that they get burnt out on that relationship. So I
didn't sign up for that. They're there as a learner as well. So definitely connecting and supporting each other is a message we want everyone to see. But like, I'm not, you know, if I'm that second student, like I'm not your tutor though, or translator the entire your career. It's still here, you know, during the year this year.
Yep, that's right.
Really good point. Really good point.
So Michele, do you have a tool that folks could use to kind of like help us break up a little bit so that we can avoid some of that buddy burnout?
Yeah, I do. I have like it's very, very simple. It's just a set of cards that I made that are color coded, and they say, you know, partner A and partner B, and it shows like a quote bubble on them. I will share the link.
Let me,
Do you have the link to share?
I do.
And it's just a basic slide deck. So teachers could make a copy and, you know, change things, add if they needed more partnerships. But it's just a color coding way to find a partner. Now you could purposely assign those. You can mix them up and they take one as they walk in that day. I also have what I usually do along with that is I blow up a big blank quote bubble and I laminate it, and it stays. I hate lamination. I have told my team this many times. I was not a teacher that went crazy laminating, cutting everything. Maybe my first couple years, but then I was like, no, I can't do it. I burnt out on it. But I will laminate a large chart of these quote bubble A and quote bubble B. And then what I will do is to tell students when they're talking, partner A is going to start, and here are some sentence frames or sentence starters to get you going. Partner B, your job is to respond. Here are some response option starters. And then we switch partners, trade cards. Now you're partner A and you're partner B. So we're going to use these frames again. This is during the learning process where students are just learning how to have dialogue early in the year. I like to be really structured about that early in the year. in teaching them how to say things and how to respond. And then lots and lots of praise, lots of listening into their conversations. What I don't want to hear is that right after they shared with their partner, they all turn back to me and raise their hand.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't want that, because it wasn't for me.
Yes.
It wasn't for me. It was for them. So, I want to have them turned towards each other, and I'm the one listening in. So I might go around with my little notebook or clipboard and just jot things that I'm hearing. This is when I take down, notice things about the way students are producing English as well, to monitor their progress, and also just validating efforts to use the stems, advance in your talk with each other, and participate. So even things like turning to your partner, starting to talk. I will be like, 6 groups are starting to talk. I love that. Things like this.
I love
super simple tool. You have a tool as well, right?
I do. But I just want to say, I appreciate so much like the fact that it takes some time, right? To like, as kind of establish the routine of having good dialogue and good conversations. And like, I talked to people from like, we talked with educators from like pre-kinder all the way up through high school, and everybody needs that practice of having ongoing dialogue and kind of building conversations, and not just doing it for the teacher, but doing it to like support each other. So I really appreciate that you said that. And like, as we talk about kind of getting back into the groove of things and launching another school year, like, these are great things to kind of build in, like, and take the time to establish, because it is a routine that will need some nurturing for sure.
Absolutely. With younger students, sometimes I tuck those cards into one of those clear lanyard badges, so they could like not lose it and have it in like actually trade partners, and really practice that. With older students, I do not do that, but it's a good visual signal for lower level students.
For sure.
For lower grade students.
Yeah.
The other thing I was just thinking, when I think about, oh wait, you have a tool to share about partnering too. Is it?
I do. These are the student sorting sticks. And I love these things so much. And I wish I could say like this was my brilliant idea, but it's not my brilliant idea. I originally found this idea from Illinois Classrooms in Action, and their website is now gone, but it was like a work committee under ISB for a while, and they had such great tools on their website. Luckily, I saved the original in my Google Drive, and so I posted it on my blog, and I'll make sure I link it here for everybody. So that way, if you want to see the original, like the cool one, like go there, you can see the whole, the whole thing. But I just went ahead and I updated it just a little bit to make it just, I don't know, for me, feel a little fresher. And so there's like a set of 40 different strips, and I keep them all on like a ring, just for my own organization. And then I printed them, and this is like a printable. So you get once you get the link, you can print it. I laminated them. It did take some time, but then I have one set that'll last me all year. And they're all
numbered. If you're going to use it all year, if it's like a tool that you want to last, if you're passing out more than just one day or hanging it up more than one time, if this is an ongoing tool, that's the time to use it, in my opinion.
Yes, totally agree. But it's nice because so each of these are numbered at the bottom. So if you wanted to go back and like collect them all, you could be like, oh, who has number 39? Hopefully none of us have class sizes that exceed 40 because there are 40 different sets here. But this is a really cool way. And I know you said earlier, like, sometimes we're really, really intentional about how we group our partner students, but sometimes we really do want like a heterogeneous group, like just real quick, just a really quick sorting mechanism. So on the printout, you can get like a set of directions almost that kind of says like, hey, if you want to split the class in half into 2 large groups, you're going to sort by the number. If you want to sort into 3 groups, you're going to sort by the color of the shape. And then it lists out for you like what are the options, so you can yell them out, like all the squares go over here, all the diamonds go that way. But it's so easy, and I think the younger kids will kind of find it like magical, because you just never know. Like if I am a 5th grade student, and I get a strip that looks like this, there's no way for me to like be able to trade real quick with those around me. Yes, like who else is a square? Because we might not be sorting by shape today. We might be sorting by something else. But I love it. Every strip is a little bit different. And it's just like, again, a quick, easy way to get some groups going, and boom, it's like all done.
Love that. Love that tool. Did you share it with them in the?
Yes, I'm going to link it. And I realized I'm having linking issues, so I'll have to go back after the live is over and I'll link them in.
That's okay. Or we can always give them to a Lindsay too for the roundup.
Yes. That's right.
One thing another thing I've been thinking about is something that I think I hear often at the very start of the year when teachers are thinking about students, but then also this theme comes back when we're changing seating arrangements, is that many teachers think about kind of spreading out what I like to call your big talkers.
Yeah.
So it's like me and you, Carly.
Yep.
Right. Like, I don't know, but I always had my name on the board with some check marks for like too much talking.
Yes.
Too much talking. But I actually think I like to think about it differently. That too much talking. How can we, with one hand, say, I need these partners. I want to have this sentence string so I can listen to you talk. I encourage all this talking, and then say, but you're all in trouble for talking. You know, so I don't like that really at all, that we would reward the behavior in one moment and punish the behavior or state it as a challenge in another moment. Yeah. Instead, I like to think of it as always a good positive thing, because talking is likely the way that some students learn best. Yes. Some students learn best by processing ideas verbally, by turning and talking with one another to get their thinking out in the moment. And their thinking makes better sense to them, or their language makes better sense to them if they try it out. Yes. And so many students seek to interject or share or talk a lot because that is how they process their learning. That's how they do their best thinking. Now, but teachers say, but they're not thinking or talking about, they're not talking about the subject area. Well, sometimes students who have that as their primary SMART, if we think about Gardner's multiple intelligences or something like that, that verbal interaction is the way that they process things, then we can think about those students needing to release some of their initial thinking verbally in order to then be able to focus on the topic. So I might need to tell you about my lake house thing on the weekend, just get that excitement, make sure you know these cool things that happen in order to then be able to focus on talking about a content or academic topic.
Yes.
And so what happens when we think about seating arrangements is that sometimes teachers will look at students who have that learning style as a challenge and will seek to spread them out in the room. And so who would they sit those students next to?
Yeah. Yep. Probably. Keep going. I'm going to grab my dog here again.
I think probably they will sit those students next to a student that's very quiet.
Yes.
A student who I like to think of, I know the big talkers, but I like to think of those students as the think firsters. Nice. They're someone who needs to process things quietly and reflectively and by thinking in their own think space. Yeah. So yes, they might be the person that's going to turn and say, shh, to someone that's the big talker and processing things verbally, because they're trying to do their thinking quietly and in their own mind independently. And so if I put big talkers next to think firsters to try to solve the problem of noise, if I view it as a problem, which I personally don't in most cases, then I'm really harming both of those learners.
Yes.
So I like to think about combining together your big talkers and helping them find ways to manage that talk and still be able to, not distract and be able to accomplish their learning goals. Yeah. So it might be a matter of giving them a quick strategy mini lesson where you talk about Hey, I also love to share with my friends what's going on in my life before I get down to business. I do that at work every day.
Yep.
Or I also like to do these things. So you might give them some strategies and practice with the strategies. Let's feel how that feels if we only do it for 30 to 60 seconds and then move into our next topic. Did that feel like enough? Why? Why not? How could we manage that? When will I allow you to, when will I encourage you to have talk, and when will we have to respect other students who need the think space?
Yes.
So I don't know. I like to, again, address it as a conversation and definitely not purposefully place big talkers next to think firsters.
Yes.
Start.
And I love that, because I think for a lot of us, that's such a big paradigm shift, because like I remember going through my undergrad and that was like the recommendation was like, you want to spread out your blurters. That's what the word they used in my program, with like all the kids who would blurt out real quick. And I remember getting that advice. But I think this is like, again, like this is the beauty of these conversations, because it just kind of helps me shift my thinking just a little bit of like, hey, wait a minute. Like, is this really good for the kids I have in front of me, for the kids I'm serving? Like, could it be a little better? So I really appreciate that, because I think that really flips the script on what a lot of us were taught, and what a lot of us inherited, because I feel like a lot of us inherit practices.
Yeah.
I know I've inherited a ton that I am still working to unpack.
Yeah. And that group of students who are risk takers with talk, who verbally process things, is a great spot in the room for you to fishbowl when you want students to practice the conversations. You spotlight that table and say, these students have a wonderful ability to talk things through, and they're not afraid to do so in the classroom. So here's what that looks like. Would you guys mind modeling this or that, and giving them the sentence rooms, even if you take a moment to have them practice that first with you.
Yes.
They are brave talkers.
Yeah.
And thinking first and reflective practices might also need to be showcased and spotlighted for other students too. I think both are very equally valuable ways of learning and processing information.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think sometimes, depending on the vibe of the morning or the topic, like those kids might interchange a little bit, right? Like I might be a blurter if it's a topic I'm really, really excited about. Like that might be my moment where I'm like, I'm going to interject a little bit more. So I think it's cool to think about it, really fluidly too. But
and not to think about those not to think about those labels. I'm not suggesting that we make a seating chart and write on their big talker. I don't want that to be a label. We want to encourage everyone to both talk and listen, to equally needed domains to accomplish their English language development, any language development.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh, Michele, I feel like the time
up.
Oh my God. It always does, though. I feel like it always does. But thank you so much for joining me today. And I know we've got lots of tools that we'll be dropping in the comments. But thank you so much for hanging with me this Tuesday.
Yeah, we gotta talk more on this.
Yes, for sure. So y'all, thank you so much for joining us this Tuesday morning. And we will catch you next week as we resume Wind Down Wednesday on Wednesday, August 2nd. Thanks, everyone.
Perfect.